Okay, family, welcome to our second edition of our weekly outlook. And this is Citizen FX coming to you live from Ghana. And I'm hoping we all have a nice time today. And today we are going to look at the trades I took, why I took those trades. And you can probably come up with your questions. And at the latter part of our session, I'm going to go through the pairs with you and analyze some few pairs with you. And we'll call it a day today. Thank you all for showing up. So first of all, I'll start by uh, going through the trades I took this week. This week I took NCAD, I took AA, and I took EN. So let's quickly go to EA. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, yes. Okay, so I took a sell over here, over this region. Where is my pencil? I took a sell over this region. Yes, and I was floating some beautiful pips. But I closed it. I closed it yesterday once I saw the market stalling around this region over here. Yes, I closed it. And the reason why I actually sent analysis on the page. Okay, the reason why I took this trade was the current direction of the market was bearish. If we look at the weekly and the daily as well, we can clearly see the current direction of the market, which is very bearish. And we saw, a correction move or a pullback or an induction move happen over here. So I was just waiting to see whether price is gonna break this structure and close above it. We didn't see that. We saw a break and a shift back beneath that zone, which is this zone that I'm talking about. And we saw market stalling over here. We actually also saw a break of this little zone over here to the upside, and I was expecting markets to come and test this and go up. It didn't really happen. So they broke down here, store over here, break it quite clearly, retest it, and I took an entry over here on the lower time frame. I Let me go to the H1. Probably you see it quite clearly. So that was it. There was sort of an engulfing candle over here, and there's not really a beautiful tweezer bottom, but it's pretty okay. We looked at how to predict market reversal, a change in the direction of the market last week. So this was quite what played out. And also I took a N card, which brought some sort of confusion in the elites group. People were asking me why is the overall trend upside, and I took a sell trade. Oh, okay. So this was the higher lows, regarding this uptrend. This was the higher lows, and I told you before you can really think market is actually changing. You have to see markets actually breaking through the higher low and retesting it. This is not an ideal safe entry with regards to a change in the market direction. Today we'll look into that. But then it was a clear sales from this point downwards. And I took my entry over here. Let me draw it. I took my entry over this region. Yes. And I was, in a beautiful I don't really, I'm actually still in this trade. I'm holding this actually because I'm expecting market to retest here and drop as well. And the last trade that I took this week was EN, which came to break even. I took the trade here. This was my entry around here. My entry was around this place. Yes. Market went down, and came to help me at break even. But I saw people were still selling. But this was game over for me when I saw this. When I saw this happen, it was a game over. I knew they were going up. So I just, left the market in. So that was it. So last week we looked at what to look out for when the market is actually changing direction. And we said that, okay, so when we are in an uptrend like this, mm, okay, so when we are in an uptrend, we focus on these zones and how markets price reacts to these zones. And once price doesn't violate these zones, um, there is no reason for us to be looking for a change in the direction. We just have to focus on, you know, trying to draw our trend lines, our induction trend lines, or our pull retracement trend lines, and check out whether they will break it, find an entry on our lower time frame, and go with the flow. And we also said actually that whenever we see something of this sort happen, something like this happen,
Yeah, but
yeah, we have to be mindful
okay.
of the direction. Whenever we see this happen, it gives us a clue that the market is actually shifting, and we are shifting from making market making.
Hey,
Please,
what about video printing?
can you mute yourself? Okay. Hello, please. Okay, I think I've muted them. Okay, so whenever we see this happen, markets making a lower low and a lower high in the midst of a market that we've clearly defined that is an uptrend, then we have to wait and see whether markets is actually making a true direction or is just another form of retracement. So if we see this happen, if we clearly define this market to be an overall uptrend on a higher time frame, and we see this happen, we have to wait and see. And in such fashion, this will be our confirming entry that no, this is actually market is actually changing, because this will be our first retest of this zone, which is a high risk entry. But then if we see markets break this, you know, lower lows, come and retest it from here going, we can ride the market, downwards. And you have to really focus on this on a higher time frame. Don't be looking at this on the H1 or probably on the H2, probably H4 daily and the weekly. Because one thing I've realized is that whenever markets is making a higher highs, a higher low, higher high, forming an uptrend, there is equally, you know, structure within the structure. We can clearly see something like this, or let me admit, something like this happen. Okay, so this is actually advanced form of structure within structure. And so let's say the blue is actually our higher time frame, and our brown, trend is our lower time frame. So over here we can see a break in structure over here at this point. You can see a break in structure, but we are not interested in that. We will wait and see a break in structure in this downtrend, this mini downtrend in the higher and in the higher time frame uptrend mode. So whenever we see something like this, we wait and we join the flow around this region. We join the flow around this region. Where is my pencil? Around this region. And whenever we see another break in structure over here, we wait and we wait for this induction or a pullback or retracement to be over, and we join the markets, in this direction. So one thing you really have to pay attention is market structure. When we are able to define the markets on a higher time frame and we scale down to our lower time frame, we shouldn't lose focus on what the higher time frame is telling us, but then we have to align ourselves with it, but then take notice of structure playing within this structure. You understand? And so this is exactly what happened on n n card this week. We saw a break of a major zone and a retest of it. And when I scaled to my lower time frame, I saw, a beautiful entry, aligning itself with that current direction. That's which is why I took it. So let me clear everything for now and go to our charts. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So with regards to, let me go to end card, because that was what brought about the question. People were saying they actually bought this because they saw a breakout of this trend line. And yes, okay, so what happened was that we defined the current direction of the market as a bullish one, and this is an evidence of it. you know we saw price breaking up this major, zone over here, which is our lower high over here. And one thing I've realized is that people can't really read the market. They don't know what is a lower high. They don't know what is a higher high, what's a higher low. So this is actually basic. This is a tool one should get in understanding price action. So we can see whenever price is forming a downtrend, markets will be doing a lower highs and a lower low. So this is a lower high. This is a lower high. A lower high. Oh, my pencil. This is a lower high. What is happening? This is a lower high. This is a lower low. This is a lower high. This is a lower low. A lower high. Lower high. This is also a lower high. A lower low. A lower high. And a lower low. So you can see where I drew my zone from. And from here, market broke this zone. And market started forming a higher high, higher low, higher high, and price is on the verge of either forming a higher low, or probably will come and break this lower low, which is highly not possible in my opinion. But hey, the market the market does whatever it wants. So we were able to define the current direction of the market as being an uptrend forming. Though we can clearly see this trend forming, but hey, we are currently in an uptrend since probably um May 2020, and that's the current direction of the market, and that's what we are focusing on. So aside that too, let me push this one somewhere. Yes. So on the daily, we saw we are in a clear uptrend. On the H4, we could also see that, and on the daily, we can draw our induction or our pullbacks, or our retracement channels or retracement trend lines, which is actually here. We can draw that one from here, this place. Yes. So we actually saw a breakout of this. Yes, this forming. Let me actually go to the H4, which will make things quite clear. Mm, yes, yes. We saw this forming, and those of you who were in the elite group somewhere around October, I think, we all got a nice entry on this, and we can see markets forming a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low. And regardless of that, we have to pay attention to what price action is telling us. So we've been able to define the current direction as an uptrend, and this is a major lower highs, a major higher lows. Actually, this was a major higher lows. And so if you could see initially, that was where my zone was actually from. I drew my zone here. Yes, so indicating this is a major zone, and this was a retracement. This was another form of a retracement happening. Yes, I said it time and again that we are not actually focusing on the retracement, you know, channels. We are only waiting for a breakout of the retracement channels or the pullback channels, and we join the flow. We saw this happen over here, and we saw price making a mini lower lows over here, a mini lower lows, lower highs over here. Lower. This is where price started making a lower low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and we saw a break of this zone, a break of this, indicating price has broken the structure of this mini downtrend within the higher time frame, a higher time frame market, which we've defined to be an uptrend. You understand? And so we saw here a retest of it, and boom. In the same vein, we saw a pullback. So last week I said this is actually a pullback. But then we came to a measure zone and broke it and retested it. And there was an engulfing candle over here. And there is no way this market is actually telling you to buy it. This is a classical sell setup. Let's go to a lower time frame and see what price was actually telling us. See, so once I said last week that this might be a pullback, let's see what price action actually told us. Okay, so we started making a lower highs, which let me this is a lower high, and we form a lower low. A lower high was formed over here, a lower low, lower high, lower low. Let me go to the H1 to make things very clear to you. Mhm. Okay, okay, so yes, so a lower low, a lower high, we form a lower low, and another. See, when price go here, this was our recent higher, lower high. When price got here, price doesn't break this. They came here, broke it over here. See, broke it over here. If we were clearly going up, it will retest it, do something of this sort. Boom and boom. This is not what happened. But rather, let me erase this. But rather, they retest the zone and broke back shift beneath this zone over here. You understand? The shift within this particular zone. You understand? And if I pull my EMA zone, see, see what we are saying. This is clearly telling me no, this is a straight sales. You understand? Though I don't focus on the EMS, I focus on structure, and I use my EMS for entry. How I use it, I'm going to talk about it in my book that's coming up. You understand? And there are ways you can even use how do you call it? support and resistance to get a beautiful entry. So once we broke out of it here, this particular zone, there wasn't a reason for me to be buying this market. You understand? Though we've defined it that is an uptrend, but we need structure to tell us that we've actually shifted from this you know, mini downtrend within a higher time frame defined uptrend. But we didn't see that. We saw, you know, a little bit of an induction over here, induction within induction, somebody will say, and this big fall, you understand? And this actually also happened on a card. I don't know, last week the Canadian dollar was actually, getting much stronger. And this is exactly what happened. See, this was a recent break in the structure. A recent break in the structure over here. What did we see? We saw price making a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And when we got here, see, they broke this, retested it, formed.
That's why I bought.
This is you bought over here.
Yes, yes.
You bought over
yes.
here. You see,
Because I felt it was a retest.
no, see, if we were going up,
Yeah.
market should have played out in such fashion. See, from here, they'll get here and retest this place and come and take this one out. Come and take the zone, retest the zone, take it out. You understand?
Yeah, maybe I was in a hurry. I wasn't patient enough.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
So
it's just 20 pips.
oh, that's not a big deal. So you see, markets will retest this and go up. But once we break this, let me erase this.
Yeah.
But once we break this like this, you see here, this was the play. We are supposed to retest this and go up, but they broke this. Boom.
Broke it. Okay.
See, and retest it. From here, they retested it. Oh,
And dropped.
they retested this and straight down. You understand?
Yes.
So
I was meant to wait for the break of the second zone upwards.
yes,
retest, then maybe I enter.
yes.
Okay.
That didn't happen. So once they broke it, that they've broken structure, what do we have to see? We have to wait for whether they retest this zone and break. So if you see my chart that I posted last week, I started using this this particular. You see me do something like this. You see me do something like that.
Okay.
Yes. To see the breakout.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, David actually told me he got a move straight from up here. Let me try and look at it. Okay, David, thanks for showing up today. Yeah.
Can we see it?
Oh, he sent it to me on my WhatsApp, and I don't have my WhatsApp on my desktop. But let me post it. Let me post it in the group.
Maybe we share the screen.
Oh, really? Let me try. I'll do that after the session. I'll send David post after the session. So that was it. We have to pay attention to structure every time we are thinking of entry. What is price action telling us? So if you could follow my chart on the Elite page, I said I'll wait and see what price action is telling me. Regardless of our analysis on our higher time frame, we also have to understand price action on the lower time frame. And for me, when I talk about price action on the lower time frame, I mean what price action is telling me on the H1 and the H2. I go to M30 for entry. On the H1, I want to see what price action are we still making a higher highs and a higher lows, or price has shifted, making a lower highs and a lower lows. You understand? And so let's take another pair and which did somebody also take a trade that he lost and he doesn't understand that the person want me to look at, or any pair at all that was mind-boggling to you? you know. Well, if you don't have, oh, we have 10 minutes, and if you don't have, then we'll go straight into
I actually took a card, but
U
it hit my
card.
take profit. So
Oh,
yeah,
take profit. Then that's pretty cool. So we don't really have to. En. Okay. Oh, we spoke about En.
EN
I
should be another
guess
one.
you were late. En hit me at break even. Yes, and it was a clear. It was a, I knew price was shifting. See, we know my analysis was that if we break out of this range, if we break out of this range over here, we are going down. And we saw a break, they shifted, and another break, and a retest of it over here. Let me go to the H2 to make it. We saw a break, but you see what price was forming? Price was forming a lower high, a lower high, a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That was what price was telling me. Let me go to the H1 to see a lower high, a lower high, lower low, this sort of a lower high, another lower low forming. Yes. And so if we clearly look at this, what price is doing over here, let me clear everything. Price is forming a lower highs and a lower, so we know we are in a downtrend. We know the overall direction of this market is what is a downtrend. You understand? And this is the time price is also showing me, downtrend moves on a lower time frame. You understand? So I was very, very confident in this. But then when they broke out that was the range I was talking about. This was it. This was it. Yes. They broke out, shifted above. Once they took out this highs, they took out this highs and shifted beneath it. This was an engulfing candle. I knew they were going down. So my entry was somewhere here. My stop loss was here. And they came down, came down, came down. And afterwards, they shifted heavily. This was a heavy move. And they come and took me out at break even. Immediately it took me out of break. I didn't even think of, entering this market before, because we have formed another a lower low, and we don't know whether this is the beginning of a higher low. So they form a higher high and a higher low. And they took this one out, forming and they are on the verge of forming another higher high. So though we've been able to define the overall direction of this market to be a down one, what price action is telling us right now is no. Market is right now forming a higher high and a higher lows. And if we pull our trend line, see what is happening.
yeah,
We can see a clear break in our trend line. You understand? A clear break in our trend lines and market forming and higher. So for me personally, to sell this market again, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Are they gonna
I see the buy move going as a retest.
As a retest? Well, that's fine. If it's a retest, it's a win for us because we understand the market. We define the market from the higher time frame that we are in a solid downtrend. And if this is a retest, good enough. Let's see what the Fibonacci is actually telling us from here. Let's see whether we get, Fibonacci to make
I'm
sense.
looking at it on the weekly time frame.
Oh yeah. So per the Fibonacci, price is currently at the 60-50 zone. If this is a retest, it's a win for us. because if they start, coming down, we will as well see a shift in the structure. You understand? We will see a shift in the market structure. Probably, I wouldn't really call this a higher high, though we've broken this higher. So we might as well see a break of this zone. Yeah. As at now, we've not seen a clear higher high on a higher low. And if they break and retest this like this, oh goodness. This is it. This is what we'll be looking out for if they shift. Guys,
Hello, guys.
Iman, how are you?
I'm okay. What's up?
I'm good, bro. So this session is actually recorded, so those who missed the initial stages, you're gonna get it. And I'm gonna send another link. We have 4 minutes now, another link, and we'll continue. So if they break this is what I'm gonna look out for. But for now, there is a strong bullishness in the midst of the well-defined downtrend markets. So I'm not thinking of selling this. I have to see something of this sort happen. Either than that, I'm not wasting time. Okay, so I think if you have a question, you can ask, so that the second section will be analysis, what I'll be looking out for in the pairs, So if you have a question for now, you can come up with it and we look into it. Yeah. Hey David, so aside this and which A card, which trade did you take this week? Well, somebody say fundamentally Euro is kind of weak. That notwithstanding, let's focus. Well, family, I currently, what I do every weekend is I look at the JPY index and the dollar index. Yes, every weekend I look at it, since it tells me what prices.
Okay. I took AUD USD.
AUD USD. You took.
I took a buy on it.
Oh, this I said it's on the page that I'm looking for buys on this market, right? Emmanuel can attest to it.
Yeah,
Buys.
Same analysis I also have here.
Oh, okay. So that's beautiful.
I also took a buy on it. So.
Okay, so
just after the breakout of the trend line, I jumped in.
Oh, okay. So as I said last week, that whenever we are having a shift in the direction of the markets, you can see a break of this is the break of the structure. This is the lower highs that was broken over here, and this was a higher low which was forming, higher low, a higher high, and we now have a higher high, and there is a potential higher low. This is actually a risk entry. This is what I call a risk entry, because I want to jump in on the second wave. This is the first wave, because price can shift back down over here. From here, price can shift from this place. Oh, where is it? Price can shift from this direction here. You understand? Guys, do you understand? Though there was a break, but when price was here, it's 50-50, can shift back and come and take this one.
Yeah, because you're not really sure.
Yeah, so this is a risk entry. They took it out and they are forming a potential higher low. And that is basically what I'm going to wait for. And if it's clearly a higher low, then I'm going to jump in on the next wave of the market. You understand? On the next wave of the market. So that's it. Let me close it and send the next link on my channel. Okay, guys, thank you and see you very soon.